guys. I'm going to take you through the dot point of race versus ethnicity. Um, this is a pretty straightforward dot point. It's one that some students are going to find easy to score highly on, but you just got to be able to do the right things, okay? So it's not just about definition and a crap example and then I move on. It's got to be comprehensive, and that's the approach that we're taking. It's a comprehensive approach. So outline differences between race and ethnicity. We did this activity before in class to start off with. We did this activity where we said, you know, which one of these people is European? We have all these people that all look like they're European, right? But they're actually from all over the world. And we found that only one of them was European and the rest were not. Excuse me, that's interruption. Which shows you, I also did the same thing. All these people are blacks, so to speak, and you think they're all African. In fact, only one of them is African. You know what I mean? Similarly with this one, these people all look Asian. You would think that they're all Asian. The reality is only one of them is Asian, okay? And so you can't really, so we did this activity as well where I'll show you the image, where we tried to identify all the races of the world. I think we might not have done it this year. I might have done it last year. I wanted to do it with you guys. I think I gave you a copy of this. We ran out of time, if I'm not mistaken, where basically you have a bunch of images of these different people, yeah? And you have to identify where they come from based on how they look, just to show you that race as a concept is flawed, okay? But we'll continue. Then we did this activity where I asked you to categorize these people based on the research of the French sociologists. Now, let me show you the French sociologist research. Here we go. The guy's name is Arthur de Gobineau, and he went around the world in the year 1816, between 1816 and 1882. And he said, in the world, there are three races. That's it, three races. There's something called the Caucasoid, there's the Mongoloid, and there's the Negroid. He said, all people of humanity fit into one of these three categories: Caucasoid, Mongoloid, Negroid. So whenever you hear those three categories, you got to realize it came from him. He's the one who came up with this concept, okay? Caucasoid, Mongoloid, Negroid. So if you try to categorize these mixed race people who are all clearly mixed race, right? They're from different parts of the world. Some of them are from mixed families, whatever. How would they fit into Caucasoid or Mongoloid or Negroid? They wouldn't fit into these categories, right? So it shows straight away, as soon as you look at this image, this is flawed. The research is very flawed. How can you try to categorize somebody who looks very clearly as in like they're halfway between two different races or whatever research he said. Anyways, the definition of race, this is the technical textbook definition, is race refers to categorizing people based on their physical features. Now your expansion should include things such as skin color, hair texture, facial features, etc. That's part of your expansion. That's race. An example of race that could be flawed is here. These are twins who have parents from different backgrounds. The twins came out as two totally different colors with different features. Yet they're twins. They're born at the same time to the same parents. This happens sometimes. The Gobineau's research would come and say, these two kids belong to different races, even though they got the same parents. So if we look at this image here, okay, now we're moving towards defining ethnicity. We're looking at this image here. According to Gobineau, both images would be white or Caucasoid, right? Basically, they're both Caucasoid. Yet one of the founding principles of the group on the left with the hoods is hatred of the group on the right. Yet they're both Caucasoid. So what is the difference? The difference between the two is ethnicity. Okay? Now, what is ethnicity? Ethnicity is a shared cultural heritage and way of life. Ethnicity, the definition of it, includes categorizing people by characteristics other than their physical features. These are called shared social characteristics. This includes things like language, religion, nationality, and history. Multiple of these together is an ethnicity. So if you have the same language and nationality and history as somebody, you probably have the same ethnicity, okay? If you have different language, nationality, history, and religion, you might be different ethnicities, okay? So these social characteristics together, all of them together, form an ethnicity. We did this activity where we analyzed the KKK documents, where they actually said, you know, you have to be white to be able to join the KKK. We'll go look at it quickly. No, we're not going to look at it. I don't even know where I have it. But it's a form that basically says, if you want to join the KKK, you have to be white, you have to be Protestant, you have to be all these different characteristics. So they're using race rather than ethnicity. They're clearly using race, even though they say that KKK is for the white race, so to speak. But they use all these social characteristics. They talk about religion and all these other factors. So the KKK itself is actually a particular specific ethnicity, which is a white Protestant European, Northern European ethnicity, basically. So that's the document, but the document isn't here. So, for example, which of these people that we're looking at, which of them would be able to join the KKK? None of them, actually, because none of them would fit the criteria. Even the Spanish people are not Protestant, they're Catholics, so they wouldn't fit either. So none of these people, even though they're all considered Caucasoid by the Dogobanu, none of them would actually be able to join the KKK. Okay, so Caucasoid, Negroid, Mongoloid. That's the race of the research of Arthur Dogobanu. What is ethnicity? Ethnicity refers to social characteristics, right? So I'm going to show you something from Wikipedia, which shows you apparently a list of all the ethnicities in the world. And you can see that there are multiple ethnicities, starting from Bicolonos people in the Philippines, and there's people who are called Chechens in northern Caucasus Mountains, right? There's the Copts, which are in Egypt. Some people would say Egyptian is an ethnicity, which is not ethnicity. There's the Croats, which are in Croatia. There's the Galicians. There are people who live in France or Spain, France area, Galicia. You know what I mean? So Spanish is not an ethnicity either. Definitely white is not an ethnicity at all. That's clear. You can see all the ethnicities in the world, okay? They're all different history, language, religion, culture. That's an ethnicity. We watched this video, which is Momodo. This is a video where they talk about these people who think that they watch the video. It's too long. It's 3 minutes, but basically I'll just get to the end. So basically, these people thought that there were certain ethnicities. That this lady thought she was like Iraqi, Middle Eastern, or whatever. The other guy thought he was European. Then they did this DNA study of the Momodo journey. You know what I mean? And they found that they actually have similar origins. These people, like surprisingly, they actually had a lot of the same DNA, a lot of similar DNA. Okay, and so this guy's from Ireland, she's from Iraq, and somehow they still have a lot of similar DNA, which shows you that race is not a real thing. It's ethnicity and ancestry. People are like Hitler can't say pure Germans because who knows what else is in his blood. You know what I mean? All right, so we're going to look at this example here, which is an example of someone using race rather than ethnicity. It's the racist attack on Asma Fahmy. Read that. You've got to find a quote and a source quickly. I've got it somewhere. All right, how a racist attack ruined the family's day out. It's from the Sydney Morning Herald. It's from 2015, okay? That's the source. And you just got to go through this and find the quote. The one I would use is F you Pakis, get out of here. And she's not even a Paki, she's actually Syrian. So the source is Sydney Morning Herald, 2015. The quote is F you Pakis, get out of here. And the analysis would be, this person called her a Paki, even though she's not even a Paki. He doesn't know nothing about her. He's being ethnocentric. He's also othering her. But he's using race because he's trying to categorize her based on her physical features, what she looks like, rather than ethnicity, which is learning about the cultural or her actual ethnicity, his history, language, religion, etc. And so the person who is stereotyping her is using race rather than ethnicity. So that's an example that you can use in your responses. Another example is the Melton Shop incident, okay, where a gentleman who owned the shop basically said, no blacks or dogs are permitted to enter this shop. The article is from, I think, ABC News. Yep. No, Yahoo News. Okay, Yahoo News, 2017. And the quote is, blacks, what is it? Because the 14 to 18-year-old blacks always steal, prohibit 14 and 8 to 18-year-old blacks and dogs entering the shop. Okay, that's your quote as well. You've got that as well. So you've got a couple of examples there. And then that's all you need. So you have your examples. Use 2 quotes. I'd say have 2 quotes because it's only 2 examples. And then if you have an example from your research as well, that would help. And you can answer questions like this. You have your definition, you have your expansion, the Gobenu, ethnicity, social characteristics, etc. You have all your examples and your analysis, and then you link back at the end. That's a high-scoring response.